Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Nolan Carney. Hello.
Yes, Nolan, I'm so thrilled to discuss Japanese nationals. Here we are. I have to tell you, I don't know, now that you're covering this,
Okay.
it's like two alternate universes at
I
the
was
same.
gonna say, can we just compare first? Because I have a lot to say.
Yes, it's a weird thing now that when you go through the Grand Prix, like that's a mental exercise. The
Hmm.
mental exercise of Russia and Japan in the same weekend, and when you're covering it is mind blowing. Is it
It's
like,
like you have to have two different perspectives of what you're watching
yes.
in terms of what is reality versus what is a world where they have help.
Yes, but it's also like what's important. Like, okay, so I was in this seminar one time and they were talking about like what things that get measured get improved. And it was
Hmm.
about like using measurement and work and whatever. But it's true, right? Like if you have an iPhone and you're tracking how much you work out every day, you're going to start to improve that, right?
Yeah,
So you see like in Russia, they really value jump, like
the
rotation,
points. Yeah.
force, right? Especially jumps, right?
Hmm.
Okay. In Japan, it starts with
Polar opposite.
skating skills and then they
Yeah.
build up from that, right? So if you notice, it's like two very different schools of skating. It almost doesn't look like the same sport. And it's just like two extremes.
It was, I was going to say, because I just think it's so ironic with all the resources that Russia has and gives to their athletes that they can't produce, a skater that has the same type of skating skill level as a Japanese skater. It's something they really don't focus on there at all.
so it's interesting. It has to do with like the development of skating, but traditionally Russia had a lot of classical music and
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
a lot of ballet, especially in pairs and dance. As they've gotten so points, Terry does not focus on that aspect.
No.
They do dance, but they don't have the balletic lines. They don't waste time on that anymore because it doesn't get the points in the same way. The Japanese, when they were becoming more successful, they started importing all of the choreographers from North America
Hmm.
and working with a lot of the coaches in North America and around the world. So they have like a different blend of skating now that they took like the good parts of the North American system and added it to their skating. It's just very interesting is that the one thing that I noticed is that the music at Japanese nationals was like fantastic. Like there was
Yeah, very good.
yeah,
Energetic,
yeah,
interesting, different, and not all the same style. Everyone kind of spaces, kind of challenges themselves a lot. Like even you look at someone like Mao Shimada,
mhm.
she has two very polar contrasting styles of music. You have the wicked for the short and then a traditional Japanese song for the long. I mean, it's not you don't see that. In Russia, everything's very heavy, even the music selections too.
Yeah, and they've gotten heavier, like
Yeah,
in pairs. I noticed when Asokina was skating and then there was like, Akasheva did Masquerade Waltz, which was, very
very
traditional.
traditional. Yeah.
But it just was different. The Japanese had all of these different pieces of music that I was shazamming and paying attention to. And
Yeah. More
uh,
interesting.
yeah, I missed it.
Yep.
It was what I used.
And
Listen, when we had no lyrics, there were great years of music. There were awful years. We
yeah.
sang the same pieces again and again and again. But these were like not just your standard Warhorse classical. So I really enjoyed a lot of it, I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very interesting. I mean, you look at what the pair, Boykova,
Mhm.
a lot of them are now doing they're taking very classical, not classical songs, but like a classic type of song and using these very odd covers of them and just like a Metallica type of heavy metal cover, like in Boykova and the pairs, and it's going a little too far sometimes, I think, maybe with the music choices there.
Yeah, and I think for a long time, like, okay, so for a while, minimalist music was really popular in this like
Yeah.
folk classical, like the Abel Koronowski,
Abo Corp. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that Romeo and Juliet and the Wii soundtrack and things like that.
Hmm.
And then Papadakis and Cizeron, they used the Wii and then they built on that and the
Build
happiness.
a home, stuff like that.
Yeah. And all of that style. And then you would just hear everybody reusing it, right? It was interesting to hear like music that has highs and lows again.
Hmm.
And I thought that that was really interesting and refreshing and added to the event. Okay,
Yeah.
first I need to ask you about is you're very into the
Okay.
race right now.
I'm into what? The pairs?
Yeah, I feel like the Paris discipline, you're like have a front row seat to.
I do. You know what? I like a pair team. I like watching a good pair team.
Okay, all right. So you watched Italian nationals, German nationals,
I did.
Riku,
Not as much for the Italians, but
yeah,
yes.
Riku and Ricci here. They
Hmm.
obviously come in. I think a lot of people consider them to be the best pair in the world,
Hmm.
like skating
Paired, yeah,
overall, right?
together.
But Minerva and Fabian have been, sorry, Minerva and Nikita have been so consistent
Hmm.
throughout this season. Do you think Riku and Ricci, like, do they have it at this point? Like, are they still, how in it are they for the world title and when we look forward to the Olympics?
I think they're in it, of course. I think you can't count. I think they have that magical, intangible, like it factor that that Minerva, the Italians, who is the yeah, Minerva and the Italians. Vienna has it too, but I think they have that like intangible factor that they lack, the other two teams lack. But again, it's really going to come down to whether or not they can do the technical. And they've had errors on a lot of, I think, in every competition on the tech and on the jumps in each competition this year. So it's just whether or not they're gonna come together and do it. But I will say, her triple Salchow this year has been like bam all
Yeah.
year, which
But
has not been the case. So, but I do think also I feel that they've looked a little bit dejected over the past couple. I noticed it in the short program especially, and then in the free skate they looked a little bit happier, but they just seem like they're running out of fire, like what Elena said during your Russian recap.
yeah, what I noticed, it's interesting. Bruno is such a good salesman of his teams, right? And
Great salesman.
right, and when he talks and he says, "Oh, they train so well," and like I do believe that, and knowing
Hmm.
how I visited Bruno, he has like a very calm environment in his skating school, where they work. There's not a lot of, it's not like a Russian coach screaming at you to get you to land
Yeah.
that extra thing, right? What I noticed though is I don't believe it on their side by side triple toes at this point.
Yeah.
And looking at the history of her career, right? Like if we start to look at the skating scores element sheet,
The jump elements.
the triple toe is going to be all red, right? Like it's going to have
Yeah.
a lot
And
of,
most of the time it's on a hook too.
yeah.
So,
I have a hard time believing that's going to be clean at Worlds in Boston.
and
It,
they'll have to add the two double axles too. I mean, that's a big ask.
I don't, I listen, we saw Megan and Eric the last time Worlds were in Boston. I think they went to Florida. They got it together while they were there, and
Yeah.
they came from behind after the short program, and they nailed it. And there was a lot of feeling that Volozhar and Trankov and Sway and Han were gonna just take it. And that was a really tough field, great competition. This year is going to be tight again, and I think that they need to have that gel cohesive moment. I just wonder if they have the fitness. Like, are they getting old? Are they getting, run down in their body?
Yeah.
He had, the issue with his spine and his shoulder. I don't know. She, to me, mentally seems different. Like when they were winning and they were on the rise and they were great, they were a great underdog team. Now that they're out in front, something has changed in her, worlds this season. It's tougher at the top. Everyone says it,
Hmm.
right? But
I mean, Abby Lee says it's tough to stay at the top, or tough to get to the top, tougher to stay at the top. All right.
yes, what I see is, and it has to be frustrating because, Minerva, they don't have the same skating skills. They don't have the same choreography. They don't have the same transitions. But what they are doing is that they're delivering. And when you deliver time and time again, your scores start to rise and the
Yeah.
rest doesn't matter. And people see you the same way. And it's how this works. But also, when you make mistakes time and time and time again, people stop holding you up. And they're like, yes. What I notice is they're a classy pair. They have the
Hmm.
skating skills. They have choreography. What they lack interpretation. I don't feel
Yep.
that they understand their music. Like it's almost like the music is put on them. They're playing the audio's music for
The
size.
adios is a little bit, I think that's the one where it's a little more,
It's beyond.
disconnected for me.
Uh, the painted black is fine. It's not
Hmm. It
neither
works.
neither one is a great match. You know, like they're like the team that had like one or two good programs, and this is all a streak,
Yeah.
right? They've never,
Also,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they want to have a home run, maybe the pre-Olympic season. I don't think a pre-Olympic season you're going to have your best choreographic programs. I mean, we've seen some of the pair teams this year. It's not a realm of beautiful choreographed programs this year.
Yes, I do think they're going to need a great program next year, especially with the Russians back.
Hmm.
Should it be Misha Galyamov? You know,
I mean, that's going to be tough.
it's tough, right? It's debatable. They're a team that typically picks something they go the energetic route or they go the classical route. I think actually the energetic route for Misha Galyamov could be more dangerous. I think that they're stronger there than they are with the classical route. Um, what I see with Riku and Ryuichi is they have to kind of fit that melodic contemporary. There's just
Mm.
often like a sad energy about them. I don't know what it is. Like they've had the kind of bittersweet melancholy programs before that they've done well with. I It's always like minor keys, kind of a little sad, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, the Seattle of Japan kind of vibe happening, but I I don't know if their side by side jumps are strong enough, especially the triple toes. I think they would have to. I think switching to the sow and the short would probably be smart. Uh,
I mean, they've been nailing it. It's been much better.
and the side by side triple toes are just not great. Their throws here both seemed questionable.
The the thing with them is I think their skating always feels like they could just like slip off the edge at any point. And like you don't feel assured at any moment during this program. Like when they're going into that throw Lutz, all I picture in my head was Skate America, the Olympic season, where she like slipped off the edge right into the boards. Like that's how I picture this team like the entire time. Like it's a scary watch a little bit, but they're exciting when they do have it all together.
You know, there are a lot of teams that kind of struggle in the intermediate years or skaters, and then they get it together for the Olympics, which I could see this team doing. It happened to even
Mhm.
Megan and Eric, right? At the last moment. I
Yeah.
kind of think they're going to need to do that. I think it's going to either happen at Worlds or the Olympics. I don't know if it'll happen twice with age and the number of issues that they have.
One thing I do think is that this is about Minerva. Minerva's got that new, fresh
Mhm.
look now on in the Paris field. She's a newer team, newer at the top, and that's going to benefit them this year. But I'm wondering if next year, if they have any mistakes, the scores might get to when you win and then you have mistakes the next year, your scores tend to drop a little bit. So I'm wondering if that could be a good opening for them next year. Maybe this year might not be the pan out for top spot at the World Championships, but I think they can use this as a refueling source for next year, going into the summer, going into the fall, getting
Yeah.
ready.
It's interesting what will happen with them. I think that they're going to turn into underdogs should Mishnah
Yeah.
be that pair. If it's not them and not Boykova, that kind of levels things out, right? Um, I
I
think
wonder, sorry, keep going.
Vienna and Max, I think it's good that they're going through their growing pains
Yeah.
season so that next season they can just be more focused and have more stuff figured out. I imagine she's taking this news not well, knowing her, but
Hmm.
will then turn around and get into a higher gear. So I think
I
that
think she's going to use it well.
I wonder how the Japanese took it as well, because they would be in a similar situation, right, where they're going for a gold medal and then it becomes less likely. Also, you know, Canadians really are not pro-Russia in general.
Yeah.
You know, that school, the Marcotte Duhamel family, I do not think are the biggest Russian champions. So, and you know, we know from Twitter that Megan really didn't think that they were going to be coming back. So I
Hmm.
don't know what Bruno thought, but Megan certainly didn't think that they were going to be coming back. It has to be kind of a shock. For Rico Ricci, I imagine they got in high gear for the Grand Prix final, and I imagine they tried to peak there and then
Versus here.
versus here, and then they're going to have to come up for four continents and then worlds. Um, I'm curious to see how they're going to do it for continents. I don't know. What's your take? Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. I think they have a lot of time to come down a little bit. I mean, they've probably been go, 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 go over the past month and a half, from NHK to the final to here. I think they'll come down and they're going to come back up. I think Four Continents, unless Deanna's there, I mean, they don't really have much
And she's
competition.
going with her Canadian passport, unless she pulls
Yeah.
out after nationals.
I mean, I think Deanna kind of has to go now because she missed the final. She needs the points. And I think it'll be good for the two of them to both have each other to push for having a good spot there and then pushing for motivation towards Worlds as well. I think I expect them to come out and skate well. I expect the triple toes at least to be landed. I don't know about rotation, but I expect them to be landed at the next competition.
Yeah, I think the pop was more concerning for her in the free, just
Yeah.
rather than the mistake in the short program. But the fact that that's the problem element both times. It's
Hmm.
tough, especially as an athlete. Like if everyone knows that the triple toe is your element and then you miss it,
You're watching the triple toe. Yeah.
yeah, and then it's a spiral, right? It's like Sasha Cohen not doing a clean long, Koyada not doing a clean long, then it starts to spiral out of control mentally. So it's a tough thing that happens, and they're on the verge with that element of it becoming the focus. The Vanessa Adler Comaneci release on it even
Yeah.
fires before your time, but it was like
Yeah.
much the crisis, right? So
I'll
yeah,
I'll say the two elements to watch for in the Four Continents will be Deanna's triple. Oh, sorry, the three elements:
hmm,
Deanna's triple Salchow,
okay.
Riku and Ryuichi's triple toe,
Hmm.
and Danny and Ellie's throws. All of them. Watch every throw. Those are the three key elements for the top. I think the top three teams going into Four Continents.
And I will say last year it was Deanna's throw triple loop, which has become a very strong.
Very good this year. Very good.
I really think they should go back to the throw, Sal. For right now, I think the Lutz is
Okay.
not there. There's too much on the line, and they need to get this season back under control. And I think she needs to fight her instinct to go for the points and go for quality. No, like I
She needs to take the Japanese approach versus the Russian approach right now.
yes, and I think that sometimes when she goes for the points, it works against her, right? At
Hmm.
first,
Yeah.
she's like too aggressiva, right? Like she needs
Yeah.
to go for clean. Because the one thing that Riku and Ryuichi have is they have more longevity together, so they match better than the other teams. It's just
Yeah.
they naturally have it, right? The Germans actually match quite well, just their body, the length of their limbs and whatnot. But in terms of skating skills, Deanna and Max can look really good together. It can also start to look messy, right? And I think for
Mhm.
them, they need to make sure that everything is looking as clean
Yeah.
and world class as possible. Um, and I think they definitely need to be on the podium at Worlds, at Four Continents.
To have any shot. Yeah. Four Continents and Worlds.
Yeah, I mean they should be there. They're better than teams that are
Yeah.
they're better than the Italians, frankly. It should be, the Japanese, the Canadians, and the Germans in some order. But I
Mm.
think it's important that they do that, and Ellie and Danny are not that far behind points wise, so they have to, make sure that they stay ahead there.
Mhm.
Okay, women's.
Okay.
Let's move.
Okay. We're starting with the women.
All right.
Who do you
Very
want to start
different
with?
world. Very different world than Adelia Petrosian.
Very different.
Do you think Mao Shimada was robbed?
No, I actually don't.
Okay, Okay, discuss.
So I mean, the triple axel cheated in both.
Hmm.
Really struggled with it on the warm up. Like was popping it into like a waltz jump a lot on the warm up. Um, the quad toe downgraded all season. She's landed one cheated quad toe on
Time
one
to
foot, like all year. Like probably should get rid of it. I will. She's very very confident on all the other triples. Has great programs. Great choreography, but there's a noticeable difference I felt in the speed and the composition of the program versus the two seniors. I mean, they drew it out on that ice scope in the short program. She misses two full corners of the
Okay.
ice on the ice scope
So
during the short program.
that's one of the components. Okay, yes.
Yeah. The composition much lower, I think, in my opinion, and she doesn't fill up the ice as well than the other two. And I think I think the scores were justified in her PCS, and the jumps technically, like they were what they were. She's about a +3, +2 to +4 on the judging. And also you have to remember Kaori is the political favorite in Japan. They're not going to put a junior over her. That's I
But
didn't.
is she at the edge of her Kaori supremacy, right? Like she has not really done anything new in a long time. She has tried to
Yes,
improve the quality and the
and the look.
presentation. Okay. And I think that, look, I think she's become a better performer through doing these programs. And at the same time, the free, especially, is not it. For me,
No,
I,
no.
I don't think she's had a fantastic free since in,
Since the woman,
yeah,
yeah,
I think 2023 was probably the best of,
the Sia was nice.
yeah, it was a little forced, but it was,
Could have been better.
to me, this is not Chicago. And I don't know exactly what it is, but to me, it exposes some weaknesses, right? Like the step sequence, she's not in time with the music. She's also not in time with the character of the music. It doesn't really have
Yeah,
the flirty quality. It gets a little Halloween costume feeling, like we're putting on Chicago for size, but it's not believable for me.
yeah.
Ansu was much more in character, whether you liked her facial expressions or not. If you watch her skating when she did her step sequence, it had fast and slow, and it was in time with the music. Kaori's just barreling through,
Well,
which
the thing is that the Chicago Cowboys doing it's all highs. It's all go 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 go. There's no high and low within the program to kind of build a story. And I'm sure that when your program is like that, when it's that fast throughout the entirety of a 4-minute free skate, it's hard to keep up the energy and keep up the character. I mean, I feel like it's just a difficult program for no reason, is what I feel.
it gets cluttered and sloppy to me, especially because
Yeah.
okay, Kaori really struggles with her posture, right? Like she's really
Mhm.
pitched forward. We love how fast she is. It's very dynamic and
It's very impressive.
but the pitched forward posture, and then she uses some wide outside edges, right? And she's doing the mohawks, and she's her entrances to like the loop, and that it's
Mhm.
really almost chaotic, right? With how deep
Yeah.
the lobes and the curves are, it can get out of it can feel out of control, right? And we've seen her nail the program, we've seen her have issues with it. I don't know going into the World Championships if this program is it.
Is a winner. Yeah.
I just don't see it. I think she's growing as a performer, and at the same time, I can't see her nailing this in Boston in front of everyone. Like I don't see it. Like
Do
it's
you think she'll change it?
no.
Okay.
Marie France is a stubborn, strong-minded person. Remember how many times Hubble and Donahue had programs that were not it, and they would change the music, but they wouldn't change.
Never change the program.
Yeah,
Well, so I'm wondering, I kind of think like her time with Marie France should be done after this. So I
yeah,
was wondering, would you just go back maybe to like an elastic card or something, and then next year go back to Benoit?
probably
I
yes.
think she needs to go back to Benoit for
Or do
sure.
Rohini for both. Yeah, right. Like I
The
look.
Rohini short is like okay. I don't
Mhm.
know if it's anything revolutionary, but I think she does a good job with giving her like adequate choreography,
Well, I think
an adequate program.
listen, as we talked about her strengths and weaknesses, I don't know if the choreographers like know where to go with her with a program that's going to be winnable, right? Like
Hmm.
and listen, she's had a phenomenal run. If you look at it, like she winning the world,
Crazy. Three in a row.
bronze medal, the worlds. She was before then, climbing for several years, right? She's had a really good run.
Hmm.
We might be towards the end of this run, right? Like I think
Well, yeah, especially if next year pans out the way we think it'll pan out. I think she probably will not win.
and that's crazy too. Like, okay, so like Petrosian, I think she has a shot because ultimately I think the way the rules are written, if you look at it,
Yeah.
is it that they really want neutral athletes or do they want the appearance of neutral athletes, right?
I think she will. I think people are a little bit naive in believing that the Atari girls are not gonna be allowed to. I think Petrosian will be undoubtedly be the
Okay,
choice and will be selected.
I do. And the reason is, admit, could be completely wrong, but if I think through this, she skates with a Terry, right?
Hmm.
You know from the rules that they're not going to allow a Terry at the competition, right?
Okay.
That mean that you can't train with a Terry during the year? How are they going to police that? Would anyone even
They're
bother?
not. No one's gonna police that in Russia.
I work with Paul Wiley on Zoom, right? So
Yeah.
whether we're together in person or not, who's going to be like
No
police?
one's gonna police it. Yeah.
Okay. Next, Nika Agadze is going to be allowed to be there with a Terry.
Hmm.
Terry's going to be allowed to be there with someone else, but then not allowed to be there with the Russians.
And the pair team.
And this is where I really believe that the ISU I believe that the ISU had more than enough information to go
To
and
ban her.
to at least have an investigation where they could have then disciplined her for a number of things.
Yeah.
What happened with Trusova and Valyeva at the Olympics with her conduct with Thomas Bach spoke out against. Yes, there were people that then went against Thomas Bach, but I have to say, like, they could have used that moment to discipline her,
Yeah.
especially with the way things had been going, with what happened with Valyeva, with just the overall behavior at the Olympics, sending her to the mix zone with the mask on, everything, right?
Well, wasn't Lukernik the president at the time
Mm-hmm.
when this happened? I
Yeah.
think maybe they could have done it like retroactively, like when the Korean president came in, but I think he's more focused on short track.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think it was ever going to happen because of Lukernik, being at the helm at that time.
But I think it's a quandary that they're in because the ISU never disciplined a Terry. They have no
Yeah.
standing to discipline a Terry, right? Other than these
Hmm.
vague rules, which they already have found a loophole. Because if you think about it, you have Nika Agadze representing Georgia, training in Moscow, training with a
Hmm.
Terry in Moscow, going to the. So basically, what we're saying is a Russian representing Georgia
Is okay.
is okay, as long as he has Georgian heritage, right? He can train in Moscow, train with the Terry, be at the World Championships, but a Russian can't be with the Terry at the
At
championship
the Yeah.
because she's associated with someone who's associated with doping, but Nika Gadze is also associated with doping. Do they both have a Moscow mailing address? Like, at what point,
Yeah.
what is the
The
free?
double standards is a little much.
Yeah, like people were asking about Daniel Grosso. Well, okay, that's another great point. Like he
Yeah.
had a doping situation. Again, the ISU has kind of like they've like followed, they've been kind of like floating. They didn't want to tick off Russia. They're like, oh, we'll follow whatever Cass says. We'll do as, and it's all very political. But now because they didn't actually have any integrity, they're now in this big problem where they're going to have a really
Yeah.
hard time keeping someone like Petrosian out of the competition. Um, and then of course they'll make a whole mockery of it because it would have been if they named her by name and said you can't be at the competition at the Olympics.
Hmm.
Boom, they could have this like someone else bring a Godze to the competition, but they're not doing
Yeah.
that in the rules
And
necessarily.
they didn't go after, they could have went after the whole entourage as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't do that as well. And now if you're just a Terry, so is it Terry and the entourage band or is it just her? Like can the other two go?
Unclear that they said any associated personnel. It's really going to come down to what that three-person panel decides, right?
Okay.
And there's going to be a lot of lawyers, and there'll probably be appeals. That's why they're having so many months in advance.
Yeah.
It, it, it's going to be very interesting to watch how this pans out.
I hope they publish the entire thing for us to look at.
Oh, yes. I imagine it's going to be really hard to have Glycan
It's
have
going to be really hard to get all three
the most
not
likely
able to
Dudikov
go.
is the one that would probably be there of
The
any,
safest. He's the safest.
and I don't even see that happening.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll have I don't know the lunch lady bring them to the competition, but at the end of the day, it's all semantics and kind of a joke. It I think that they have to have the appearance of neutrality versus real.
Actual neutrality. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, and I got in a whole debate with Maya about whether or not the ISU could or should have um, actually, um, disciplined Terry. I personally think they could have, like, as like for like 50 reasons, right?
Hmm.
ISU can do whatever they want. Okay. At one
Yeah.
point in time, they tried to discipline Plushenko for appearing in a non-sanctioned competition, right? Like they pick and choose what they
Yeah.
do. They also have definitely overturned, like Bobrova's doping suspension in the past. So it gets really nuanced, but should it be Petrosian? I do think um, Amber, Kaori, Petrosian going to be a really interesting competition. I definitely
Hmm.
think Amber needs two triple axles. Amber getting stronger and more confident. I, I do wonder if Kaori's program becomes more important because Amber has a triple axle, right?
Yeah.
You look like Kaori's triple X is not on an outside edge.
Not on an outside edge.
So I just start to, if you start to pick apart the weaknesses, and with
And
more,
don't you think okay, so I have two things.
yeah.
And don't you think they'll consider calling it in
Oh, yeah.
Boston?
Things will get way more cutthroat now that Wakaba
Yeah.
is back because it becomes way more competitive and way
Yeah.
more critical. Yeah.
And we saw on Instagram also this weekend Amber Glenn doing a triple axle, double toe combination. So
Listen,
I think everything's in motion. I think her and her team are also considering adding the second one.
for Amber, I think it's now or never. I
Yeah.
think else. And she
Hmm.
seems to,
I think she knows.
yeah, but she seems to be in a good centered place for, I mean, I was actually so impressed with the way that she spoke so confidently on TV.
I know. It was great.
I don't even remember Ashley Wagner being as confident as Amber was. And Amber is considered the one that we think of not being as confident, right? She was definitely more confident than Gracie. She just exuded this belief in herself. So I think Kaori has an uphill battle. She definitely has to be perfect at Worlds.
Hmm.
I do think switching a program would be a good move.
So long. Yeah.
Probably going back to Sia or the woman program. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to know what you thought about the scoring between Kaori and Wakaba
Okay.
in terms what do you I watched both of them
Yeah.
and I think the areas where Kaori has the edge is in the spins and I think on the
Upset.
over
Okay. People get upset when we talk about the spins. So I just wanted to, I'll let you do it because I have talked about Wakaba spins and I see the comments. To
are
me,
people upset about the spins?
yeah. But
Okay, sorry. You got
to me, it's the speed as much as the position.
okay.
She struggled with the flying camel in the free, right? With getting the leg.
Hmm.
We were
Yeah.
getting to a V, right? Um, I worry, she's worked on them. It's not a complete Camden Polkinen situation, but they need to be better, right? Because if you look at
Yeah.
spins of Mao Shimada and Mone Chiba, they have the
They
flexibility.
get
Yeah.
beautiful +4, +5 spins.
So she's just losing points, right? Like it's not,
Yeah.
it's just how they're ranking in a tight competition. Okay, what else?
And I think the flexibility in the back is I think the big issue for her in terms of the spins. I think also Kaori, or not, sorry, Kaori, Wakaba always seems to be a little bit susceptible for just like that quick hook on a
Mhm.
lot of the landings, especially in the triple toe part. She has the flip edge, which they always seem to call at Japanese nationals, but then they'll ignore Kaori's Lutz all the time. But I feel that Wakaba has a little bit more character, a little bit more charisma, and is a little bit more polished in terms of her presentation than Kaori. Um, I'm just wondering where you think the difference is between them because it was a drastic difference. I think Wakaba got around like 67, 68 in PCS, and Kaori was at around like 76.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big difference.
Kaori has the confidence and the audience's confidence
Yeah.
in her to deliver. But I will say Wakaba has been so consistent this season and growing mentally, like we've never seen her before. right? She was
Yeah.
always the skater we knew could be phenomenal and worried about. That's changing right now. I do think she needs to be adding back the triple axel. If not for Worlds, then for World Team Trophy. Like this
Yeah.
is she's
I think she knows.
Mhm.
I think she's aware that she needs that triple axel back.
She
She
can't
had
double this out. She cannot.
can't the triple souk has been such a problem for her this year.
It's just easy points, right? It's
It's
not a
an easy jump for her. It should be easy.
um at the same time, the overall performance and the way that she skates is so magical. She has that intangible feeling for music. But when you pull apart the little elements, a hook here, she needs
Yeah.
work on her landings. Kaori is capable of really holding a landing longer. I mean, look at the double axel, right? Even if some of Kaori's other jumps, sometimes she gets a little quick to try.
Yeah.
Wakaba, you look for the hook, you look for the running edge out.
Yeah.
And because Wakaba has that gravitas when she skates, I think that she can really work on that, right? Like that's something
Hmm.
she can improve. We have seen her jumps become more rotated and more consistent as the season has gone on. So,
Her speed has gotten better too throughout the year.
yeah, I think
I was
she
gonna,
peak at the right time.
yeah, I was gonna say, how do you feel about the Wakaba and Kate Bush combination this year? I feel like it's like basically woman 2.0. Like she is a woman on the ice when she skates this program.
It's like the new Sia. I mean, she's running up the hill. I just,
She's running up that hill.
it's a moment. Okay, the first part of the program,
I kind of like it.
I kind of do.
It's growing on me. I really like it. Like I kind of feel like it's like a sultry type of vibe at the beginning.
I don't think Dune is a bad choice for Wakaba, but like she needs the Madison Chalk costume of it all, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't like the green.
Like think about how the costume like made Diva Olivia Smart come alive, right?
I
Like,
mean, made her Grand Prix final alternate
right? Like
after
Olivia
being last at Worlds last year. All right.
Olivia Smart has the partner who's capable of falling everywhere, and somehow this costume
Somehow this is everything she needed. We owe Madison Chalk flowers.
Wakaba needs a visit with Madison Chalk, right? And I feel like she
Hmm.
understands this. And she needs another killer, like Lion King-esque program for next season.
I hope they have a good idea next year. Because I think these were really good this year too.
And it's time for the Japanese Federation to get over whatever they have against her because she clearly comes to deliver, right? Like she
Yeah.
is above. And I felt like last year they kind of went like eeny, meeny, miny, mo before Worlds. And it just was like the skaters weren't,
They were boring last year.
right? This
Yeah.
year, Mone Chiba
Much
has
more interesting. Yeah, Mona Chiba, interesting.
tons, right? And Hana Yoshida is like not it, right? Like I think it's time for the
No.
Federation to really make some calls, right?
I
And
think they did that here. And she also did that to herself though too.
yes, Moni Shiba not the best free, but I have to tell you,
No.
I kind of think she's gonna. To me, she has the vibe of a four continents winner this season. Like
Yeah. She won last year too.
she just has. And I think a medal at the World Championships is very likely for her this season. She's been so
Yeah.
consistent overall. This was not her best performance, but if you look at like the totality of the season, she's done such a great job. Sometimes her triples not the cleanest in rotation, not the most impressive. However, there are so many moments in that free skate where she's gaining points. I mean, the layback is phenomenal. The spins
The
over
spins are fantastic.
the steps are so good. Like she has a
Great delicate movements too.
she's got interesting music. Both programs, from Donna Summer to the classical
The
music,
concerto, yeah.
both are really interesting and sophisticated. And if she skates clean, I'm willing to put her ahead of Kaori.
Well, I feel like the judges almost put her ahead of Amber at Cup of China when she had the mistake on the step sequence. I
Well,
think if
she
she hit that step sequence, she could have been ahead of Amber there too. I think the
I mean,
qualities
yeah.
give them the ability to place her ahead because they're just that high.
Listen, I understand that Miyamada is not that much better than a Terry, right?
No, but she packages it way better than a Terry. All right.
Way better. She works the points. She does a great job, and they they do it well. So
Yeah. And one other thing about Mone Chiba is she was very upset in the interviews and said that she's planning to add a quad next year. I think it was the quad toe.
okay,
Um, and I was saying to someone, I think these Japanese women kind of need to amp it up a little bit over the summer. Like I would like to see Wakaba get the triple axel. I'd like to see Mon Chiba kind of try. I mean, she doesn't have to try it in competition, but I want to see her try a couple quad toes. I'd like to see them amp it up a little bit just to add something a little bit new before the Olympic season. I think that can't hurt anyone. Obviously, train it safely. Like you don't want to risk an injury before an important season, but I'd like to see them amp up the technical just a little bit.
yeah. I mean, with Amber doing the triple axel, it definitely makes it that
They
women,
kind of need to look at it a little bit more.
yeah. And I think we're going to see it. We saw it from another skater in the US. We saw it from a skater in Australia. Like these are
Yeah.
more. Um, I don't think that maybe Mia Hamada is the strongest at teaching a quad toe or a triple axel. So
Yeah.
I'm curious how it will go for Mone Chiba, but I think there's potential there. I would be remiss if I said that I'm very, very sad that Yuna Aoki retired. I enjoyed her skating so much this season,
Yeah.
both programs. I know she really struggled with the Lutz and the free, but her overall skating was like just so pleasant.
So beautiful. Yeah. She did. There was a clarification on Twitter last night.
Okay.
She may not be officially retiring. She said she's going to take some time to talk with her team. Um, I don't, I kind of still think she'll probably lean towards retiring. She said she wanted to leave skating on a happy note, good terms, and I think that's a great way to go out.
Hmm.
If she doesn't feel motivated or feel it intrinsically within herself to move to continue next year, I think that this is a good time for her to pan out, and we'll always remember her skating. It's very lovely, very, very beautiful. Um, Kind of a
Yeah.
lost art that we have now.
I think she'll do shows. She's a phenomenal.
Choreograph, yeah.
Okay. Hana Yoshida. To
Okay.
me, I think that the way that she performed here is kind of the way the season's been going. It has not been her best year. Uh,
The axle been very hit or miss all year.
yeah, I don't. I think with the stronger field, it's tougher for her, right? Like she was
Yeah,
better when the field was a little bit less.
weaker.
Yeah, and she
And I
stood up.
think
She also skated a little
she,
better. Yeah.
she has, yeah, she kind of has to stand up on everything on the axle as well to kind of close the gap,
Mhm.
even if the other girls make a mistake or two, just because the skating, the wrap is rough, the rotation on a lot of the jumps is suspect. She also has the spins that aren't highest quality.
The lines are not there. The pop
No,
there, and when she doesn't stand out, right? Like Wakaba and Kaori have the power. Mao Shimada, Mone Chiba, they have like the beautiful lines and the
yeah,
delicate qualities, right? And the interpretation. Um, yeah, I think that she falls a little flat and a little average
yeah,
in this field.
yeah,
What about Rino Matsuki? What'd you make of her? This has been the short program year of death
yeah.
for her. This is not her season. Yeah.
I was very happy that she stood up on the jumps. I don't think they were all rotated, but I'm very happy she stood up on them. And I'm happy that we only have to watch the Moulin Rouge short program one more time this season because I think it's time for her to move on to a new short program this year. And I'm also happy. I mean, she was my original daughter in terms of favorite skaters, and I'm happy that she's back on a trajectory that's making her a bit more of a competitive threat. You know, over the past year, she's kind of fallen a bit short due to mistakes on the jumps. Yeah, she'll be going to four continents. I hope she can be fighting for the medals there. She's a beautiful free skate. She, like Wakaba, has the problems with the triple sow a little bit. So I'd like to see that cleaned up. But yeah, just very lovely, delicate skating. Very good overall.
You know, we got so close to like my ideal team for the World Championships in Japan. So for the
What
women,
was your ideal team?
okay, I really would have
You were
loved.
gonna kick Kaori off, weren't you?
I wasn't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I live in reality. No, like
Okay.
I like Kaori. I just don't love her programs this season. Like
Yes.
I'm,
Yes.
I'm good with Kaori.
I
Like
like Kaori too. Listen, I was the OG woman fan. You were
yeah,
not a woman fan first.
no, no, no. I am the Roheen 2022, 2023
Yes.
birthday period, like forever. Okay. Like that
Yes.
with the Sia program, like her coming alive, becoming a woman with the short hair, like, yes. All right. Like that is my Kaori.
Michelle Kwan 99.
You know what? I hated that era at the time. And like I rewatched that program.
Now she was so diva when you go back.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so much edge. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen an ambassador with those abs before. I mean, God bless. Loving her. Okay. But like Kazuki like really could have gone to Worlds. And like
I know. I know. I mean, anyone could have gone to Worlds, but yes.
I know that under the
Yes.
criteria it made sense for Tatsuya to go, but I think Kazuki is a better choice. I also just but at the same time Kazuki has always been on the bubble and he just has like that alternate energy. Like he lets the mistakes happen. He doesn't seal the deal, right? In the
Hmm.
short program, he could have just nailed that triple axel,
Could have won. Could have just did the triple axel.
right? And just like nailed it shut.
Yeah.
Uh,
But he
and
didn't.
okay, Blessed Rain. How are you feeling?
Oh my goodness.
All right.
I love this woman, this kid, Rion Sumiyoshi, so much. I think Dave, this is the biggest eye roll of Dave Lee's like life.
No, but
The Blessed Rain,
I love talking about the Blessed Rain and Mark saying
right? Don't you feel like I
on it.
I just want to be standing outside, feeling the rain coming down on me, like watching
I sent you a
photosynthesis happen.
video of rain falling and said it was blessed rain. It was like drizzling. All right, but we were in a drought in New Jersey.
You did said that, yeah.
I want to say that like it's the biggest eye roll. Like Mark said it with like not a
With full confidence,
irony.
not a hesitation.
Like, it was a
She
moment.
wanted to express her growth of plants.
I think he believed.
Not the growth of the jumps, though.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
Deanna and the ocean, this and the blessed, the photosynthesis program. Are we gonna
It's
see this
such
again? Like what?
well, she's going so Japan she's going to the Winter Universiade
Okay.
in February, I believe, with Hani Yoshida's going.
Okay.
Rion Sumiyoshi, and it might be Mone Chiba. I'm not sure. I don't actually know. It's probably not Mone Chiba because she's going to four continents. There is one other skater that was assigned.
Too Korean if they're sending her to four continents and
It's too. I mean, that would be very Korea of them, but I don't think it was Mone. It might be someone else.
the Universiade. And listen, it has, some
And
good BC list energy to that
yeah,
competition we've seen in the past. Worth a watch for
I mean,
sure.
Cheon Kim will probably be going because she goes to every competition.
For sure.
Um, Kaori will be going to the Olympic test event in February, also in Italy. Same with Sota Yamamoto. So there's a lot of B
The
list.
US to this Olympic test event. Like, are we sending Amber there? Like, what
Should
is,
we send Amber? Like, I feel like we should send Amber.
or should she like be in a box, right? And
I
maybe
think she probably won't go because she
she could
said
train.
she's not going to four continents. She wants to train.
Should we send Alyssa Liu to the Olympic test event?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know
I
what? She's
wonder how
a gritty
the
girl.
US Nationals, I'm ready. I'm ready for the intrigue of that.
Alyssa Liu is a gritty girl. Okay,
She's
like,
a gritty girl.
like
She did her short program at the outside in like
outdoors.
outdoors in like 30-degree weather. She added like an extra layer to her dress with Polina Edmonds out there. Like they were ready.
You feel good with Paulina. You go back and forth.
Yes, we're good.
I have to say, for a
Yes.
girl as fashionable as Paulina can be with all of the fabletics when she is in the ice, her dress, very Lisa
The
McKinnon.
one,
Five,
I
six.
think it was Lisa McKinnon.
Has she become a Tammy Gamble girl? Like I thought Paulina was edgy.
No, you can never call Paulina Timmy. I think she would like actually like bite your head off if you said that to her.
She's saying like I've seen Paulina in more fashionable clothing, and it's weird. Like she's edgier on Instagram than in real life, and I want to feel more of Paulina's energy. You know, like Paulina's best look is obviously in the workout clothes and some bold, bright color, right?
Yeah, like
With,
a fuchsia pink.
right, like she peaks, right?
Yeah,
I want to see her show program costumes like at that level, and I think
she
she has
was
dinner.
doing she was doing that song to that show that you guys watched. That the woman who did the self choreographed pair program with Katya and David Peltier, she
Carolyn
used
Taylor.
that song for her exhibition. I'm pretty sure.
She thinks that she's Whitney Houston. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Paulina's a
She
legend.
has some sass. She has some, and I think she did a dance. I think she might have done Dancing Queen at one of the other exhibitions. She's in
Great.
her Abba moment.
How many twizzles did she do?
I mean, like I could tell you the Polina program right now. Ready? The helicopter twizzles with the arm up,
Yes.
maybe into like a back spiral. Then we have like the corkscrew spin,
Yeah.
maybe like a double axel, a double like a Nina Bauer into a double axel with some twizzles back out of it again. Then we do like a nice held right forward outside edge spiral, and we'd wrap it up with like a twizzle and a spin. Like that's the program layout.
All right. I listened to her interview with Nicole Bobek, one of my favorite people,
Obsessed.
right? I do think that Paulina maybe should have like had coffee with Brian Boitano and be like, what to ask Nicole? Like, you know what? She made Nicole feel comfortable. It was safe. We,
Yeah.
but like,
Nicole was very honest,
yes,
which I love
she
that
could have
about her.
gotten way more out of Nicole.
Yes.
The research was there. Okay. Like, she just, like, there were nuances to those coaching changes and things, but like Nicole was very honest and good for Nicole.
Very honest.
Icon, queen, legend.
Yeah. We
Okay.
miss her.
Miss love, like just love.
Love.
Like, love. All right. Like there's just,
That's what we miss in skating.
yes. Okay. We
Back
have
to the men.
we have to say bye. Is Mai Mihara retired? She's injured.
I think so. She said so. I saw something on Instagram or Twitter. I think it kind of alluded to her not being able to fully heal due to
Injuries and
the injuries and so
um,
whatnot. So I think it's
all in the short program. Ow, 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 ow.
both falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I, I don't know. She gives off nice energy, like pleasant.
We wish her so
Wanted her to
much.
fly, right? Like she's not
Yeah.
gonna get in your way at the rink. I feel
No, very nice girl. Very nice girl.
we need to like have a moment for her. Like she needs to like be in a nice ice show and just skate to
They
some.
need to celebrate her. Like,
Yes. Like we had like a retirement ceremony for other skaters when yeah, we need to have a moment for her. Maybe at the World Team
did
Trophy.
they didn't celebrate Marin Honda's retirement as well as I think they could have.
Listen, she's still with us. She was giving like very serious reports about Yuma Kagiyama backstage in the fluff pieces of Japanese nationals. I was proud of
I
her.
mean, I love it.
She was working really hard. Okay.
I
Like,
noticed how her and Shoma did like a group interview like a week or two ago, like preparing for the Japanese nationals. Notice how they had Shoma do all the skating stuff and Marin was just standing there in her skates.
listen,
They knew she'd mess up something somehow.
I love this couple. Okay. Maybe they struggle with like rotating a quad triple and they like to quad double, right? Like maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe we don't get the triple toe around. All right.
Marin used to love to do a clean program in junior in the Romeo and Juliet and then pop that double axle at the end. Okay. Like
Single axle, double toe, double loop.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you know what? Still the best skater Mia Hamada has ever had. Okay. Like she
Absolutely.
all right. Still my
Yeah.
all right. not over her retirement. It's not okay, but I'm glad that she was a part. And the Federation never appreciated her enough. They were
No.
constantly pushing up Kaori. I'm still resentful of it. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Marin Honda would have never done the Chicago, but if she did,
It would have been like more like Ensu's, but way better.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Nobunari Oda. This is where
My moment of the year. My
I
moment of the
when they're
year.
bullshit rules. Okay. He's
Yeah.
Nobunari Oda, and their rules are so dumb that we send him to four continents. Okay.
We should just send him. Like he
Only
should have
Meg
won the short.
Gamble would care about the letter of the law here, right?
Yeah.
She has text messaged me saying that she is going to report those photos of Galyamov. Okay, I'm getting those text messages at night, but I will tell you, she can do what she wants, but I think Oda should be at the four continents. Okay,
Yes.
he needs to work on the costume reveal.
I know he really
He really
it was the right arm.
like yes, like
Yeah. And did you see at the end? He did it like at the end. Like I was like, oh, like so in character, so
gosh,
intriguing.
to Ricky Ricardo, like in the band, like on the show. I don't know. It was just,
I added the music to my Spotify. Like
it was
this
great.
is great.
It was great. By the way, there's a New Jersey politician who faked his Spotify rap list for the
What?
yes. He claimed that he was like that his top five was all Bruce Springsteen. Complete lie.
How do you know? How can they find out?
The people on Reddit and Twitter, they found Luigi. They can find anything. Okay. Like
Yeah, but wait, your Spotify Wrapped isn't public. I'm pretty sure.
he like did that as like a political campaign. And then he was like, no, I
Okay.
have a private one. It was real.
I
Like
mean, I definitely could see them like using there's templates online you could use that like may not match up with the templates of this year, but
I haven't done a personal deep dive. It was a topic of conversation at a Christmas party.
okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Like, because
I came prepared with the questions and Dave Lease was just like, it was a Christmas party conversation.
it was. Okay. I can't be on top of everything, but I'm just
Yeah.
going to tell you that apparently a Jersey politician wanting to be governor lied about his Spotify list. Josh something. He's not my representative. He's,
Okay.
yeah, close
Don't
to
lie about your Spotify, people. Just don't share it if you don't want to don't want people to see.
yeah, like I don't share mine. It might be like,
You're not even a Spotify user.
no, I do use Spotify, but I'm more Apple Music.
Yeah. I'll send Dave like a song and it's like I have to go to YouTube. I Herman and Jenny, I'll send it was always YouTube because they don't use Spotify.
Listen, I'm okay with Spotify. I'm not okay with people saying she ate. Okay, like to like being like ate mean like okay. So like that it looks go from like a bad connotation to a good connotation, and
Yeah.
it's a lot for me. But anyway, Oda, highlight of Japanese national
Yes.
short
Best.
program, best. Okay, like,
Best of the entire event.
and I'm a little bit upset with my boy Yuma.
Okay. Do tell.
You on
With the
TSL Live?
short,
You on TSL Live when we talked this out? Jenny was also upset with him after.
I wasn't there the entire time, but I will say I get I'm a little bit upset about the minor mistakes that we had in the free skate, more so than the triple axel fall in the
Yes.
short, because the minor mistakes were just so sloppy that he could clean them up in an instant. And I think he's more aware now that he knows he's in it with Ilya a little bit, and it's starting to weigh on him.
He's definitely making improvements everywhere from season to season to season. It's incredible.
Yeah.
A couple of things. One,
Okay.
he just lacks the soul that Yuzu and Shoma both had and have.
Okay.
He's a great skater. He's
Mhm.
technically gorgeous, right? He lacks that intangible thing. Ilya has
Yeah.
a little bit more swagger than he does, right?
Yeah.
I think that whatever Yuma has here, he needs to bring out, right? And
Hmm.
he has stunning music. One of my favorite pieces of music ever for his free. I love the short. he just is missing this little bit of emotion to come out. Also, I think he needs to do whatever neurotherapy that Amber,
Amber Glenn is doing.
because it's something with the focus, because he will have these programs where it is going so right, where he gets like his quad flip in the free was
Beautiful.
so beautiful, right? And that's an element that he struggled with adding, right? And he didn't just,
Yeah.
right? Like he came out of it with this running edge, like honestly better than Ilya's quad flip, right? Like
Of course.
Ilya has the
Not
quick.
even close.
Listen, Ilya has amazing jumps and does incredible things, but
Yeah.
flip, this single element, right? Amazing, like how you want it, and then he followed it up with a really great quad sow. It's his strongest jump. It hasn't been on the last couple of competitions as much as it usually is, but I'm just getting reminded of the World Championships where he was like skating the program of his life.
And had the axle.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Breaks the spell. Here, he turned out of a quad. You could forgive it, right?
Hmm.
But like the double axle,
Oh, up to the triple flip.
when he just like was like landing on the wrong side and
Yeah.
and it just is like getting tight, and that looks like it's a more of a mental error at
Yeah.
that. So I just, and you can see they're pulling it out of him, right? Like trying to extend everything and his lines and grow into this like king on the ice. And it almost feels like he needs to believe it. And then I think maybe
Yeah.
some of it is that focus, whatever the brainwaves that Amber focuses on. I think his mentally, it's the biggest thing between now and Worlds. He has done so well with these programs, but we've seen a lot of like unnecessary-ish errors over the last couple of competitions that have me concerned, because I think mentally Ilya is really capable of turning it on for the big pressure moment.
And he's not going to any event, I think, after nationals. So he's really got the time now to focus on training, cleaning it up. Do you think they'll add anything else? Because they changed the layout here. They got rid of the triple flip, triple loop at the end. But do you think they'll add anything else in prior to the World Championships?
Okay, maybe not for Worlds, but for World Team Trophy, I think, right? I
Okay.
think at this point he needs to be clean with the program that he has.
I think they'll try the Lutz and World Team Trophy, maybe.
That's what I would do, right? Like
Yeah.
I think he needs to train the elements for next season, right? He's
Yeah.
really not going to have a quad axle for next year, but he needs to
No.
quad less ready and keep pushing the quad flip, and also keep pushing the consistency of the overall program.
Hmm.
I think like if
Yeah.
is there, he's got a lot of good things. He can make it really tough for the other men. You know, he has the best quality. He needs to skate so well and so cleanly that the judges are like, we saw another quad axle today, right? From Russia. Should, Vladislav be the competitor, Ilya be the competitor? He has to make the judges be like, good components, not as strong, and make that differentiation. But it's up to him to skate clean to get those points.
Yeah.
He needs to skate so well that people are starting to bitch about chanflation, right? Like they need to be like, you need people like Ilya fans like mad, right? But
Yeah.
he doesn't seal the deal. Like he doesn't slam the door shut on his programs.
He has a little bit of a Kazuki factor to him. He can't in a different capacity, but yes.
I don't want to say it, but he's working with Carolina Costner.
Oh my God, she also had the problem too.
I mean, think about the bolero with the triple sow at the end of the program.
But she did it at the Olympics. She got it together.
She did, but it was shaky.
But it was also like a triple toe, double toe. Like it wasn't like a quad flip.
We love her, queen, icon, legend. I'm just saying,
He
maybe
also,
we could do the brainwaves together. Okay, like
yes, yeah,
she needs to like imbue with him that it's possible, right? Like
yes.
when we first saw her program during the Olympic season, that's where lighting a candle comes from. Okay.
Yeah.
Which
The candle,
puts it
we're
off
lighting the candle now for Yuma.
for Yuma, for Amber,
Wakaba.
but getting that triple axle back. Okay, like
Yeah.
the candles, right?
Kaori to go back to Benoit.
And you have to remember, like, when someone lights a candle, it's not just supporting them, it's
It's
that
not a
like
positive thing. It's also like an intrinsic
I'm nervous.
will and drive
I'm
for them.
yes, right? Like you're so scared that you are lighting a candle because it's what we do in Catholicism for the sick and the dying, and we are that, you know,
You
emotional.
know, it's kind of like you were kind of manifesting before manifesting became a thing.
Yes. Hmm.
You were ahead of the curve, Dave.
I think manifesting had been around, but we were calling it something different.
Yeah.
We were more less Oprah, more desperate, right? Like we were, like it was more like praying in tongues. Like
Yeah.
were it was more serious. Okay. It was more dire. Okay. What about this boy skating to Pagliacci? This was very upsetting to me.
Oh my God.
Polly, like
I don't have a lot to say.
not everyone can skate to this music.
No.
You have to have that extra like feeling for the music, like be a little bit crazy. That
I mean,
extra,
there wasn't any face. There was no performance.
it was upsetting.
Yeah, it was a I mean, like the music was overpowering him. He looked like he didn't give a crap about the music. Great landings on his jumps though, but and also I wonder, I think Shun Sato, you're sending I read this on Twitter that Shun may not have even been to a world championship yet, but you're sending this boy who's also never been to a championship event, and then Shun Sato, who has also never been to a world championship event. They're sending two wild cards the pre-Olympic season.
Yeah.
Very risky, very, very risky.
Shun is at least stable. I
Shun
don't
is
think
stable. I feel secure about Shun, but I mean, it is their first world championship. So that is something to consider.
they obviously believe in him more than Kazuki. Right? Even or and
Yes.
right? There's always someone at Japanese nationals that gets the short end of the stick based on criteria.
Yeah.
At least with Shun, I think like if you roll the dice, he'll be a solid eighth place. You
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like Yuma will
Be
be
top two.
top two, top three. He'll be there. They'll have three spots for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Said and done. We get this boy experience. I don't think he's the one to bet on.
No, I'm not. I don't really have a lot of thoughts for him.
I'm not the biggest Kalmura fan,
I
but
like Miura.
at the end of the day,
He's a presence.
he has a presence, and I trust that he's gonna be in the mix, right? I don't
Yeah.
see this boy, Tatsuya, like becoming a mainstay. He seems like another Suta, another Shun, like another solid backup, but not a star.
Yeah.
Um, I would have Kazuki as the alternate for Worlds.
Who was first alternate? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know offhand. Yeah.
I will look. I will look. Keep talking. I'm looking.
Kazuki's going to four continents, right? That's
He's going to four continents for sure. Okay, the first alternates for Worlds. Kawamura is the first alternate, I think. Kazuki Tomono is the second. Soto Yamamoto is the third.
and for that I would have sent like Tsuya
And
to
with
God. I don't know if he's in university or whatnot, but to me, I just don't see it in the big picture. If I had to look at who's going to do well and who's going to be around, I would send Kazuki to four continents, make him an alternate for Worlds. I would,
well, he is going to four continents.
yes, but I would send
Yeah.
Cal. I would send, um, I would send Shinzato to Worlds, and I would send Yuma, right? And then I think the other ones, like I just don't think that Sota has risen to the occasion this season enough to
He's very forgettable. Yeah. And
Kashiro.
for
If Kashiro could go to Universiade, I don't know how old he is at this point, but I would, he's another one. Like ideally, like that's a Universiade type skater to keep in the mix. But
you're sending everyone to the Universiade.
listen, I'm trying to like divvy out assignments,
Spread out the assignments. Yeah.
people that are deserving to keep them in the mix because the thing is like even if the skater isn't going to make the Olympics, it's important to keep them all in the mix to push each other and to have the right
Yeah.
dynamic.
Yeah.
So if you start to like whittle them away before the Olympics, it makes the whole field less competitive because they have to do.
Yeah. And then you have less internal competition. You're not having that them pushing each other. So
I think it was a disappointment that the mistakes in the short program, like the mistake on the jumps, like it just wasn't the best, and I think that they could have done a better job.
and he said that he was injured at NHK or throughout the entire Grand Prix. I'm sure that plagued him a bit here too. Um, I wonder if we'll see him at Four Continents or if he's going to take the time to heal, but I'm sure that that was adding to the issues here.
Ugh. But I don't know, I'm excited now for Four Continents University. Like I feel like the Olympic event, like it's gotten spicy, like it's gotten interesting now.
Yeah, we've
What
Korean nationals coming up, US nationals, Canadians, all of it.
what was your moment of the Japanese figure skating championships?
I mean, if it wasn't Nobunari Oda's short program, like I don't know what is anyone's. And also Wakaba running up that hill. I ran up the hill with her too. All right.
And also Yuna Aoki, like,
I know.
and Mone Chiba doing Donna Summer, like
So much pure skating, so much pure joy that we saw this week.
moment in Mao Shimada's footwork where she does like a back three to like this inside twizzle with her arms, and it's just like pure joy of skating. Like it,
Yeah.
stupid
Her
thing.
spiral in the free on the
Oh
music,
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah.
a million things that Mona Chiba does. Reno, a million things that she does.
Reno's inside or her loop, like just
A million things that Yuma does. Kazuki short program, like just
I
yes.
mean, this really is our event. Like this is the event of skating fans.
Yeah, and like I would want the exhibition to be like Yuzu, Daisuke, Shoma, Marin Honda, Mawasaki.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Half A-listers, half new people. Like, let's send it off in style. For
Yeah.
right? Like, let's pack that arena. But overall, I think it was a great event. Yes.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. We'll hold it, Angela.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. Bye.